So,
all right. And again, that's what they released to us. We did not edit it because people won't hear it. They won't hear it. They'll just see the video and think News 6 some way was responsible for chopping it up to make it look the way that it does. That's what we got. Okay, another story we're talking about involves another teenager who sadly died on a cruise ship. This is Anna Kepner we're talking about.
Story.
It is a huge story.
Internationally, British tabloids talk about
Oh my gosh. And this is how we are getting information now, not from local media or from local law enforcement, I should say. We're getting it from people overseas because they take more liberties in collecting things like this. And that's how we're finding out a lot of information about how 18-year-old Anna Kepner died on this Carnival cruise ship with her family members. And we now know, but not from any sources that are official, right? We know that they have been in family court, and that's where all this information is coming from with her 16-year-old.
We're getting this in a roundabout way.
With her 16-year-old stepbrother now being a suspect in her strangulation death. They said she was asphyxiated on this cruise ship with her family members.
The one she was found under the bed.
Yeah, under some flotation devices and things like that. It was just crazy. But from the very beginning, our News 6 investigator, Mike DeForest, has been on this story. And every time there's a document dump or anything related to this story, he just dives right in. And that's how we've been able to find out a whole lot about what is happening on this story. So Mike brings us up to date on the latest.
It's been nearly 4 months since Anna Kepner was found dead on the Carnival Horizon. The FBI and federal prosecutors are still not discussing the investigation. But family members say Kepner died from asphyxiation and that her 16-year-old stepbrother, identified in court papers as TH, is facing juvenile court proceedings after being identified as a suspect in her murder. After Kepner's death, her biological father, Christopher, and stepmother, Chantel, have been in court battling for custody of Chantel's 2 children from a previous marriage, including the one they call a murder suspect. Chantel Kepner's ex-husband, Thomas Hudson, has argued those children are better off with him, in part because of what happened on this cruise ship. In a newly filed court paper, that ex-husband writes, according to social media from the Kepner family, TH was charged by the United States Attorney in the Southern District of Florida for the redacted and homicide of Anna Kepner. News 6 has been unable to independently verify the ex-husband's claim, and it's unclear why part of that court filing has been redacted.
And, the death is highly unusual that we're talking about, but blended families are very common in this case. And what Mike is saying is that now, because of what's happened and all the information that's being released, it's almost like the two sides of the family are turning on one another and trying to figure out who gets custody of the remaining kids. And it has just turned ugly. We know in family court things can be just really not very nice, and some things come out and some things are revealed, and you have to figure out who's telling the truth, and it's up to the judge to figure all of that out. But what we've learned is that there have been some problems in this family, obviously, before all of this happened, but it's sad that it ended with an 18-year-old girl who had such a promising future ahead of her by all accounts, and anyone who we've interviewed who knew her from her school and hanging out with her, like she was just a delightful human being who should still be alive today and living out her life and graduating from high school. So that's the update that investigator Mike DeForest has been able to find.
And we'll continue to give you updates on that story whenever something comes down. It's one of those stories that whenever we release a tidbit or whenever we find anything, people have a real zeal for wanting to know what's going on in that case. So we'll keep you
interesting
updated on it. It is. It's interesting and sad.
And sad at the same. It's a lot of things.